Had I known this English point was a pain in the neck for a lot of English learners, I would have covered it before. Can you imagine? How I missed this is beyond me. Let's discuss.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right. Thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 694, Inversion. One of my students asked me about this grammar point recently, and it was actually the first time anyone had asked. So, let's dive in. Sometimes the word order of a sentence is changed. In particular, we sometimes reverse the order of the subject and verb, and this is called inversion. For today's English lesson, let's look at 5 situations where this happens. And, by the way, a big shout out to Peter for asking about this topic. If you have an English question that you'd like me to cover here on the podcast, please feel free to get in touch with me. First of all, and probably the most common way we reverse the subject and verb order is in questions. With questions, the auxiliary verb or the be verb comes before the subject. Here are some examples of this. I'll show you some statements followed by their corresponding questions containing inversion. You can go there becomes, can you go there? The movie has started becomes, has the movie started? Ted is out of the office becomes, is Ted out of the office? I think most English learners are familiar with this kind of inversion. The next case is with may. May can come before the subject when we wish something. The sound is a bit old-fashioned, so you'll probably come across sentences like this in old movies, books, or greeting cards. For example, may all of your dreams come true. Congratulations on your wedding. May you both have a lot of health and happiness in your life. My last boss was terrible. May he rot in hell. We also use inversion with short conversational responses like, so do I, so is Jack. Neither do I, neither does Jack. Nor can I, nor can Jack. Next, we use inversion in some conditional sentences and clauses. In these cases, the auxiliary verb, the be verb, and should replaces if and comes before the subject. Here are some examples. Had I known about the exam, I would have studied. Had we paid attention to the map, we would not have gotten lost. Were he my son, I would never have let him go to that party. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. The last one for today is regarding negative adverbs and phrases. And this happens most often in formal and written English. We use negative adverbial phrases followed by an auxiliary verb and then a subject. Here are some examples. She left me for another guy. Only then did I realize what she meant to me. Not until the end of the day did Kim begin to read the letter. Bob was not in the room when the argument happened, and at no time was he even aware that there was a problem. Finally, here are some examples using negative adverbs. Hardly can we believe the news about James. Little did we know about the company's financial problems. Seldom have we heard such example sentences in daily conversation. You were thinking that, right? Keep in mind, the best way to remember this or any English point is to take the word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. Well, that's all the time we have today for this English lesson. May this lesson help your English grow. By the way, if you'd like to get more practice using your English, you need to join my Podcast Learners Study Group. There, you can make new international friends, join me and your friends for live group coaching every week, plus you get the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more or to see some of the example sentences from this lesson, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 694. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.